Okay, all right. Okay, my lovely sister. Genesis 3, do you have that? Listen to God speaking to Adam. And verse 17, sorry. And unto Adam he said, read now for me. Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. Now stop. How does that verse end, verse 17? Well, okay, not that far, but God said, because you listen to someone else, and yes, there's a curse on the earth, the whole earth. Now, keep this in mind, there's a whole curse on the earth. Look at the first part of the verse and tell me why there's a curse on the earth. Say that again. The man did what? He put his family ahead of God. Now that lesson is for us in the Garden of Eden. He put his family ahead of God. So when God came down on Sinai, what's the first commandment he gave? Thou shalt have. In many families, the baby is God. Are you coming to church? No, I can't. Why? But the baby. Are you contributing to the church building? No. Why? The baby. Listen to me. In many families, babies are shrines where parents worship. Or my husband left the church. Well, I have to follow my husband. No, you don't. Not if it goes against God. Listen to me carefully. Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife. God is saying, because you listen to someone else instead of me. When you observe Sunday as a Sabbath, you're listening to someone else instead of God. When you tell people, I can have 2 wives, no, you're listening to someone else instead of God. When you say there's a place called purgatory, you're listening to someone else instead of God. And when that happens, the result is a curse. The whole earth is cursed because a man put his family ahead of God. Now, who invented the family? God. Who invented childbearing? God. Who invented food? God. But how many of us worship food instead of God? What am I saying to you? In vain do they worship me. Finish the verse. Teaching for doctrine the commandments of men. Ask yourself, is my religious life based on the commandments of men? Or the commandments of God? I want you to make a decision right where you sit. Father, help me to serve you, worship you, based on thus saith the Lord, not thus saith my tribe. I give you one more Bible example, then I let you go. Go to Luke chapter 1. Luke 1. Luke 1. In this chapter, we'll read, the angel appears to Zacharias, who eventually became the father of John the Baptist. He was the husband of Elizabeth. Elizabeth could not have children. Read verse 12 of Luke 1. What does that say? Come on, nice and loud. And fear fell upon him. And the angel, come on, said unto him what? Fear not, Zacharias, come on, for thy prayer is heard. Keep reading. And thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son. Finish it. And thou shalt call his name. Now, who said that? The angel. But the angel was told by whom to say that? God. So those were God's words. Listen to me carefully. The angel said, because the word angel is from the Greek angelos, which means a messenger. No angel has an opinion of his own. Are you following me? All unfallen angels only say what they're told to say. Not because they're robots, it's because they're obedient. So the angel told Zacharias, thou shalt call his name John. That's what God said. Go to verse 57 of Luke 1. Luke 1:57. Read with me nice and loud and clear. Now Elizabeth's full time came that she should be delivered, and she did what? She brought forth a son. Keep reading. And her neighbors and her heard how the Lord had showed, and they came to rejoice with her. Now, very carefully, read verse 59. And it came to pass, on the 8th day, they came to circumcise the child. Stop. Now, who is they? Yes. All her cousins, meaning relatives, and her neighbors. Now, the two groups that exert greatest pressure on us is not the government and the church, relatives and friends. Are you following me? Relatives and friends. That's why those who study church growth, they tell you, you have best luck in bringing people to Christ if you're a friend of somebody or a relative. Now, and her, read verse 59 again. And it came to pass on the 8th day, come on, that they came to circumcise the child. Finish that verse. Now wait a minute. What did they call him? What did John say? What did the angel say to call him? John. Now do we have a problem? Yes. Who said Zacharias? People. Who said John? God. Who were the people who said Zacharias? All the friends, all the relatives. Now here's an old woman. She couldn't have children for a long time. I have never had a child, but I understand when a woman gives birth to a child, she's out of it for a couple of days. It's such a traumatic thing. Now she's old. It's tough when you're young. She's old. And she's on this bed, surrounded by all the neighbors and friends exerting the pressure. Call him Zacharias. When the newborn baby is born, people come around as though they're worshiping in a manger. They come to worship this newborn child. Zacharias. But Elizabeth knew her husband had told her, John. Read verse 60. And his mother answered and said, not so. Now, let me see who is really intelligent. In order for her to take that stand and say not so, what did she have to do? She had to go against, come on, talk to me, her friends and her relatives. Why did she do that? Because God said, John. Listen to me. It is not easy to go against friends and relatives. It is not, listen, it is not easy. Your husband wants to go left, you want to go right. You'll eventually go left. It is not easy to go against friends and relatives. But this woman, 8 days after giving birth, very difficult birth must have been because she was old. She said, outnumbered dozens to one. She said, no, John. Why? God said, John. God said the seventh day. A man-made institution said the first. You must have courage to say God's word. And many people will go to hell, well-educated, well-dressed, nice-looking, for no other reason that they could not resist the influence of friends and relatives and take God's side. Sometimes you have to stand alone and say, not so. That's truth. Let me stop. How many of you will say, Father, help me even if I have to stand alone to choose your word above everybody else's word? Can I see your hand? Do you mean that? Do you really mean that? Stand up with me. Now don't go home and fight with your husband or your wife, but just let people know in your life, God is first. You don't have to fight, and God is first. And that never changes. You know, there's a saying, there's an exception to every rule except the rule that says there's this. With this rule, there are no exceptions. God must always, finish my words, come first. Always, I said. Let heaven record I said it. Always. Heads bowed, eyes closed. Dear God in heaven, thank you for your word. Sometimes it is so challenging, dear God. it hits at the very roots and foundations of the life we've built. It makes us dizzy, Father, but its purpose is to save us. Now, Lord, while heads are bowed and eyes are closed, I'm making a very tough appeal, but I think your Spirit has led me to make it. I'll make it direct and clear, Father, and let the Spirit do the work. If there's someone listening to me, you know that in your present life, you've got family or friends ahead of God by the choices you make, and you want to change that. Come. You know, by the choices you make, you're putting family and friends ahead of God. Come. You know you're doing that. You want that changed. Come. Because a curse came on the earth because a man put his family ahead of God. Bless all families. I have one. I'm part of one. But there are no circumstances when God must be put second. None. That always results in a curse. If there's someone you know in your heart that you're putting someone ahead of God, come. You know you're doing that. But God still loves you, but he can't save you in that condition. Come.